Hi, this is KD Young.
This is Josh Rucker.
This is the Wealth Effect where we talk about business, community,
personal development, and financial pathology.
We got it. We was on point that time.
Hey, I'm on it.
So today's episode is 3 things we wish we would have learned before we were in business. I know it's a lot of words. I know you're going to condense it down and make it like a cool, little tag. You're going to do what you do.
Yeah, I do what I
do.
do.
But it's going to be 3 things.
Yeah, 3 things we wish we would have known before we got into business.
That, man, I think you brought this up earlier, and I was like, man, what are those 3 things I wish I would have learned before I got into business? And I really, really thought deep. I reflected on this. Yeah. Like I sit and reflected on this. And as I was reflecting, what I realized was that those 3 things changed over time.
Over time. Yeah, that's how it goes.
And so I kind of was like, let me go through the evolution of me being in business.
Yep.
And then let me give you beginning, starting up in business, things I wish I would have learned.
Yep.
But really take them through my midpoint through business.
Midpoint,
and then now things I wish I would know now that the number one thing I wish I would have learned in business, I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to go with one first.
Okay,
or do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
In the beginning, I wish I would have applied more things that I read.
Oh, that's a good one, G. That's a good one. Because, man, everybody like to say, oh, yeah, millionaires read 18 books a year and yada, yada. Yeah, they do.
But no one talks about the application process.
Nobody mentions the application.
It's like that's the part of the process that gets taken out sometimes because it's like we can read all day long and we can sit and come up with these grand ideas. But an application, does it really work? Does it truly, truly work? And man, I actually learned through application. Like my greatest learning is through application. So I like figuring stuff out as I'm going.
That's how it is for the majority of the people on the globe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what your learning style is. Like, by doing, you learn. Right?
I always say you never know what it feels like to get hit in the face until you get hit in the face. Because you talk about it all day long, like it's gonna break this jaw, and the malleable, the bone is gonna disconnect from all that. But when you get hit in the face, that's when you really feel like, that shit hurts.
That's what that's like.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what it's like building a business.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the biggest things that I'm connecting these end dots now too. So really applying things that I read a lot faster. But then I look at it when you are in business, the first thing I look at is proof of concept.
Proof of concept.
To see if it works.
Yo, so that's crazy, man. Okay, so I'll segue because it kind of maps onto my number one.
Okay.
Is I wish that I knew that perfection was an illusion.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like the closest you can get to perfection is
excellent
or consistent progress.
Either way, it means
and that is excellence.
Yeah, that would be
by definition.
Well, not by definition, but by application.
By application.
By application,
definitely
excellence is the closest thing to perfection. Because you're not. I was watching a Leonardo da Vinci movie. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
it talks about Leonardo da Vinci's story, and it shows the process of making something become an invention or getting to the end. It showed his process and it showed him failing. Yeah. Like some people think that he wrote his manuscript or whatever they call it, and Steve Jobs just bought and had all the answers. No, it's a process. It's in there too.
A process, right?
And so you're right. Yeah, and so you got to keep doing it over and over and over again.
And man, because let's see, I started LandCorp Digital Solutions. Well, when I started, it was LandCorp Business Solutions. But since then, we've grown and we've adapted. But anyway, I started that in June of 2018, right? I had the idea in 2012, 2013. So that 5-year gap, like, what was you doing?
Yeah. You was coming up with the plans. That was sorry. Yeah, that was...
Really?
I mean, but
planning for 5 years, G?
Man, it like sometimes it feels that way.
But this is what we're going to go a little deeper. This is on the personal development tip. Because I had to figure out, I'm like, bro, I've been thinking about this shit for 5 years. What's that barrier for me pulling the trigger and doing it?
Well, what was it? What do you think it was for you?
For me, it that hesitation or that procrastination was rooted in insecurity.
And see, I dealt with that a little bit differently, in that I was dealing with mine as I was taking action.
Yeah.
So like, but mine turned into something that came out later on, where my insecurity, to overcome it, I would drink wine.
Really?
Like I'd be nervous for a little bit. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna do well at this. I drink a little glass of wine, but then that's a whole other part of my life. But I'm saying, like, I really, really, to overcome that, I'd be in the moment doing it, but I still had that hesitation. I'm like, man, I don't think I'm good enough.
Dang, that's crazy.
And I remember going through that feeling, feeling like I don't think I'm good enough to do whatever I was doing.
Yeah, because for me, it just came to a point where if whatever this insecurity is, whatever I'm valuing more, because that's really what we're getting down to is value. Whatever I'm valuing more than me starting this business is hindering me. Whatever that is, I need to get past it. Why do I care so much?
And man, I was talking to my barber yesterday. Like we were talking about male insecurities. Mm-hmm. And I ain't gonna disclose, like, because I think we need to do this with We Heal. We really need to get We Heal off the ground. But he was letting me know, like, sometimes the insecurities, we put them into, like, women. And how many women can we smash?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we really talked about that. I was like, you know what? I used to at one point feel like that.
Okay, yes.
But I got to the point now where I don't care, but I care. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't care about the things that I know is important to me in my life, part of my persons. I don't care what people think. Right. That's what, with myself. But I do care about perception sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's there, but I really don't. I really like the size of me that really don't care.
That's not really where, because I don't care. Like on nine times out of 10, like not even in just business. Or like we talking personal life.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah,
but why did it take you so long to start your business then if you don't care?
Because I had to get to that point.
Oh, I see.
I had to get there.
It was weird. It's strange because I was used to being an outsider. Mm-hmm. So when you like, because of how
I see, I wasn't, like I was the popular kid.
I was the popular outsider.
That's crazy.
I know it sounds crazy but I was just as cool. Like, I have just as many people that I don't know, as many as I know, that, like, okay, let me explain. Mm-hmm. So when I was growing up, I grew up single parent home or whatever, but I was considered an M&M transfer, so I go from minority to majority. Yeah. So every school that I went to, I was always a new kid. Mm-hmm. So when I went to Carver Magnet, I didn't go to school with anybody that, I didn't grow up around those kids, so I went in the new kid. Yeah. When I went to Horace Mann, I was from North Little Rock, so I would go in as a new kid. Yeah. So I would always be the outsider, but I would always kind of, make my little echo community of friends that I would have. But at the same time, for me to be able to establish those relationships, I had to not care about how they perceive me being from North Little Rock. Oh yeah. So I learned from that point. I was like, shit, I can't care about what they. I had one girl tell me, you don't even act like you're from North Little Rock.
I hear that a lot. I come from the total other end of the spectrum because I was on the Little Rock.
Oh, she said, y'all turn the camera. Okay. We can't do it that way. It won't work that way.
Well, it won't.
You will have to, yeah. Well, Josh?
Well?
Yeah, just.
Well, we'll work out this technical difficulty. Give us a minute.
So I really got to the point where I didn't care. Like I truly didn't care, because I was an outsider. Mm-hmm. I was coming in. Yeah. I was never the insider. That was,
I was always in the Little Rock school district, so I always knew. Like me, even living in North Little Rock, I was always in the Little Rock school district, so I never really had to
fit in.
Right? Like. People forgot that I lived in North Little Rock. When, I get invited for sleepovers and shit. Just where you live at? Off of MacArthur. Really?
But how did you feel going to North Little Rock then? Because you went back to.
Yeah, because I came into the North Little Rock school district in high school, so I didn't care. I didn't, because at that time, like, I was a little disappointed that I didn't go to the high school with my friends that I had grown up with. But I knew that I was such a I had, the characteristics of being a social butterfly. I was charismatic and, funny and, I could get along with, people well.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it wouldn't be a hard adjustment at all. I never really was nervous like that. But, and that's crazy now that I'm talking this out. Then just shifting that to business, then why?
But that's the I feel like when you actually sit back and reflect on it, that's when you go into those deeper parts of things that show up in your business.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people your mistake shows up through your business.
Yep.
Like you can always see someone's personal.
And man, that's crazy. That's my number 2. I wish that I knew that. Well, I knew it, but I wish I knew how close of a relation or a ratio that is to you, your person, and you, the business.
It's almost a direct correlation.
It's a direct correlation.
It's to the
business
point.
Is just a reflection of you.
It is, and in the beginning, it is,
Yeah.
and then even throughout, like you can until you get to the franchise mode where you go into franchising, but or if you're like a serial entrepreneur where you only look at. But for people that starting off, it's like you always have a personal connection to that first business that you start.
Oh yeah. That's
and it shows through. It shows through, but you'll get to a point. I'm to the point now. Speaking about your number 2,
mm-hmm.
with your number 2, I'm to the point now where I don't put my personal. My personal is in the business, but I'm not as attached to it. I'm not as attached to like the end result through my personal feelings anymore. Mm-hmm. Either we did it or we didn't.
Yeah, basically.
Either we hit our goal or we didn't hit our goal. Either we, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me, the personal things that's interweaved was part of me not hitting my goal.
Yeah.
So I'm aware enough to look at that now. I'm like, okay, what was going on?
Yeah.
Or what was happening in business that made me not hit this goal?
I have that same conversation with a lot of my clients, because what I found is that as entrepreneurs, the general, entrepreneur, we're going into business with something that we're passionate about 9 times out of 10, right? And so what's likely to happen is that we let that passion kind of fog the vision, so it really becomes almost like a boundary or a barrier to actually scale and really achieve the goals and success that you want. And so you gotta learn how to detach that passion, that emotion that you have, connected to the business, and just look at it, because the numbers don't lie. Because, like we told you on, I think it was our last week's or the week before last, if you look at the business in terms of CFO, looking at pure numbers, they don't lie to you.
They never do.
Either you're successful or you're not, by whatever measure.
By whatever that measure, right. whatever that is.
Whatever that is, either you made it or you didn't.
See, my measurement for a long time was to not need financing to start my business. Like I wanted to go true grassroots.
Yeah.
And now that I made it to that springboard, that level, to where it's okay, now I can elevate and grow bigger. I'm struggling, and which is my number 2. This is my number 2. My number 2 is not only to take action on what you read, which was my number 1, but number 2 is trusting what you know.
Oh yeah,
like not being afraid to fire on the things that you know. Like what really hindered me was I would look around in my circle and determine if I should fire or not on an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. It was it would be like I know how to do this. Why am I not doing it? It's because 2 things. My circle at some point was like, dang, do I really know it? It made me second guess myself.
Make you question yourself.
But then the other part of that, of second guessing myself, was that I didn't have anyone around to give me that confirmation that I was like,
so
that I was on or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I didn't have, like, when I would reflect, I didn't have like a reflection looking back and say, okay, you actually owning something with that.
Right.
Versus me just trusting what I know. Versus just saying, I'm a 100% trust that I know what the fuck I'm doing. Just in this. Like, I don't care what else. I know what I'm doing with this. But you got to trust that to do it.
You got to trust yourself. You do?
Like that stopped me